Hi, good morning, everyone. Today we're gonna start a new chapter. Two stories about flying. Okay, part one is his first flight, and the part two is Black Aeroplane. Now let's have a look at the first part. His first flight. Lamb of Flattery. Okay, before you read, since the earliest times humans have dreamed of conquering the skies, here are two stories about flying. One, a young seagull. You know, seagull is a bird, right? Is afraid to fly. How does he conquer his fear? And two, a pilot is lost in storm clouds. Does he arrive safe? Who help? Who helps him? Okay. Now today we're gonna discuss the first point. Okay, about a bird, a young seagull who is afraid to fly. Okay, how does he conquer his fear? Okay. So there are two stories that we're going to study in this chapter. So the first one is about a young seagull, okay, a bird who's afraid to fly. And the second is about a pilot, okay, who is lost in a storm clouds, okay. So part one, his first flight, about a seagull, about a bird. Let's see what happened here. Right, the young seagull was alone on his age. His two brothers and his sisters had already flown away from the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. Okay. So there was a young seagull, okay? It's kind of a bird, right? Was alone on his sledge. Sledge means it's an H. LEDG is an H, okay? A narrow or horizontal shelf projecting from a water cliff, okay? Right, and this young girl, seagull, his two brothers and one sister, okay, had already flown away the day before, and this young seagull, he was afraid to fly with them. And somehow, you see, he had taken a little run, but he could not fly. Okay, he had taken a little run. Okay, forward. He runs forward, but he could not fly. He couldn't run forward to the brink of the ledge. Brink is an H, the boundary of the ledge. Okay, and little bird, he attempted to flap his wing, but he was afraid. Yeah, so he was afraid, so he could not fly. So at last, he could able to fly. At the end of the story, isn't it? He could able to fly, so this is the title, his first flight, the day he could able to fly. Yeah. Now next, the great expanse of sea stretched from beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him, so he bent his head and ran back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept all at night, even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away. He failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. Right, so what happened here? The little, this seagull was so desperate because he couldn't fly, isn't it? See, he was sure that his small wing, okay, his wing will not be able to support him. So he bent his head, yeah, and ran back to the same hole under the ledge where he slept all night. See, and even his, two brothers and little sisters, whose wings were far shorter than his own. Okay, his brothers and sisters' wings were shorter than him, but still, then they could fly, isn't it? Their sister and brothers, they could run to the brink, to the edge, to the boundary of that rock, okay, flapping their wings, but this young seagull could not fly, okay. Brothers, sisters, they all flew away, but he failed to muster up a courage, okay. He could not gather courage, so he was so desperate, okay. So his father and mother had come around. So this little young seagull, father and mother had come around. Let's see what happened in the next page. Calling on him shrilly, okay, upbraiding, scolding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him, he could not move. So his parents, father and mother, came, okay, calling him Shirley, okay, sharply, isn't it? And then scolding him, even threatening him that they will let him starve, okay, on the ledge, on his nest, on his place to sleep, unless he flew away, unless this seagull flew away. But for this seagull, he could not move. Even for the life of him, he could not even move. Okay, he was so afraid to fly. Okay, he could not gather courage to fly, isn't it? Okay, now next paragraph. I'm sorry that it's not very clear. So if you have a textbook, please go through with me, okay, students. Sorry for that. So what happened here? His parents, okay, father, mother, came and called him shrilly, okay, scolding him, even threatening him that they will not give him food, okay, they will let him starve on his place, on his hall, okay, unless he flew away, unless he could fly. But for the little bird, for him, he could not move, okay, he was so helpless, he could not gather courage, so he could not move at all. Okay, so next here, I'm sorry students, it's not very clear, so if you have a textbook with me, please go through with me, okay, sorry about it. Okay, so that was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come to near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brother and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves and how to dive for fish. So here his brothers and sisters were learning, okay, the art of moving, isn't it? To skim is to move lightly just above the surface. Here the sea, see, moving, flying lightly, okay, above the sea, okay, right. So that happened, 24 hours ago, okay, that he could not move. And after that, nobody had even come near to him, to the young seagull. And the day before, what happened? All day long, day before, okay, throughout the day, this young seagull, he was watching, or he had watched, okay, his parents teaching, flying about his brothers and sisters, teaching them, perfecting them in the art of flight, okay. The parents were teaching his brothers and sisters, okay, the art of flying, okay, and teaching them how to skim, how to move above the surface, the waves of, and how to dive for the fish, and how to get a fish, dive for the fish, okay. So these are the art of flying, art of catching a fish, yeah. So he had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it standing on a rock, while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle. And all the morning the whole family had worked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him with his cowardice. Right, in fact, this what happened here, this young seagull, okay, he had seen his brother, okay, older brother, one day got a fish and devoured and swallowed everything, swallowed the whole fish, and was standing on the rock. Brother was standing on the rock while his parents, they were praising, okay, his older brother because he could catch a fish, isn't it? In proud cackle. And all the morning, okay, that whole family had worked on the big plateau, which was just opposite down the cliffing, okay. And they're making fun of him, okay, because he was coward, he was afraid to fly. So his family members, brother, sister, and parents are making fun of him, okay. Okay, now the sun has now ascending the sky. Now the sun is going upward, isn't it? The sky blazing on his ledge that face the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. He stepped slowly out of the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with other leg hidden under the wing, he closed his eyes, then the other. What happened? The sun was, okay, going up the sky, towards the sky, okay, going up, ascending. And this bird felt heat on that day because he had not eaten, okay, since the previous night, since the last night. As this shows that he was weak and he was hungry, isn't it? So what did he do? He stepped out, he walked out of the brink to the brink. He went to the edge boundary. If you look here, the picture, this is called brink, okay, the boundary of this cliff, right? Okay, ledge, okay, and standing there with one leg, look here, picture, with other leg hidden. You might have seen a chicken, right, standing with one leg and one leg hidden, isn't under his wing, okay. So he was standing here with one leg, okay, another leg was hidden under his wing. He closed one eye, So he closed one eye and then the other. He was trying to fly. In fact, he was trying to fly. Okay, but let's see whether he could fly or not. Okay, so he was weak, so he could feel the heat. The sun was giving a heat, isn't it? It was a sunny day that is on the ledge that faced the south. Okay, now 33. Let's go to page 34. Right, and pretended to be falling asleep. Still, they took no notice of him. So he was pretending. I'm sorry, he was not trying to fly, but he was pretending, okay, to be asleep, but to get the attention from his parents and from his family members. But no one took no notice of him. Okay, family members did not take any notice of him. Okay, so he saw his two brothers and his sister lying on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Preening means making an effort. Okay, here feathers. Okay, never mind. Okay, and his mother was looking at him. Only his mother was looking at him. See, and she was standing on a little high hump on the plateau. Her feet pressed thrust forward. Now and again, she tore a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of the food maddened him. Now he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to with it. So what did he do? What did he do? The little, bird, seagull, to get his parents' attention, okay, and sisters and brothers' attention. She pretended to be falling asleep, but nobody took notice of that. Okay, so because what happened at that time, two brothers and sisters, they were busy dozing, sleeping with their heads sunk into the necks, and his father was busy, okay, on the printing the feathers on his white back. Okay, his father was cleaning his feathers, okay, making an effort to maintain feathers, okay, and except his mother was looking at him, the little bird, except his mother was looking at him. And mother was standing on the hump of the plateau. On the hump, hump, right? Hunchback, like hump. Okay. On the plateau, what was she doing? Her mother, white breast thrust. See his white breast thrust forward now and again. Okay. And mother was tearing a piece of fish that was laying on her feet. And when these, seagulls saw the scene, okay, the sight that mother was tearing a piece of fish, she was maddened, okay, she was so mad that he loved to tear the food, and because he was hungry, isn't it, so he loved to tear the food that way the mother was doing, because he was hungry, isn't it? And what did she do? What did the bird do? She was sharpening, okay, his beak again and again to with it. With means to sharpen. So bird was sharpening his beak again and again. Beak, pointed part of the bird is known as beak, right? Now let's see what happened here. Ga ga ga, she cried, begging her to bring him some food. Gao call. This is a sound, okay? Kola, okay. She screamed back derisively. Derisively means in a manner showing somehow that is stupid, okay? So little bird, okay, cried, begging, asking for mother to give him some fish food, but mother replied in such a way, okay, Gao call. This is sound, screaming back decisively, showing that he is stupid. You're stupid. You are stupid, a bird. I'm not going to give you any fish because you could not fly. Until and unless you could fly, I'm not going to give you fish, okay, food. But he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so he uttered a joyful scream. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. Now, but this little bird did not give up, okay, easily, okay. He was asking food to her mother again and again, and at last he uttered, okay, he spoke a joyful scream. He was so happy, okay, joyful scream. Why? Because he saw his mother had picked up a piece of fish and coming towards him to feed him, in other words, okay, to give this seagull, the young seagull, fish. Mother was coming towards her, so she was very happy, okay, this small bird. So if you look at the picture here, this is the small bird seagull, and this, I think this is mother, right? And this is the father, the bigger one, and This could be sister or brother, two brothers, one sister. So this is the scene, okay? This is the sea, and this is the cliff, rock, okay? This is the edge, boundary. So the little bird is here, at the edge, about to fall, okay? Okay, so let's go to the next page, 35. So he leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. But when she was just opposite him, he halted, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach to his beak. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. So what happened here? The little bird was so happy, thinking that he's going to get a fish from his mother, okay? So he was tapping, okay, on the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer and nearer, and mother was coming, okay? But when mother was just opposite to him, she stopped. Mother halted, okay? Mother stopped, and her wings, mother's wings, become motionless, okay? Sorry, his mother, okay? Stop, flapping her wings, and the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach, and then the fish was just nearby her. His beak, okay, within reach of his beak. And the little bird waited a moment, okay, but in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and he was wondering why his mother did not come nearer to him. And then he was so mad, okay, by hunger, so he dived at the fish, okay, which was on mother's beak. So the young seagull dived at the fish. And with a loud scream, he fell outwards and downwards into space, and then he lost his balance, and so bird fell downwards into space, okay, with a loud scream. Yeah, then a monstrous terror seized him, and his heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it was only lasted a minute. The next moment he felt his wings spread outwards, the wind rushed against his breast, feathers, then under his stomach, and against his wings. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and upwards. So what happened when he fell down into the space, okay? Something, terrified things happened, okay? His heart stood still because he could not hear anything. He was falling, isn't it? So he couldn't hear anything. And it just lasted for a minute. And the next moment, what happened? He felt that his wings were spread outwards, okay? He was flying, in other words, right? And the wind, rush, the wind, the air, the wind, okay? Coming towards touch his breast, and even under his stomach, and then his wings, and he could feel the tips of wing cutting through the air. He could see tips of his wings, okay, cutting through the air. Now he was flying, okay, and he was not falling anymore, but he was soaring, okay, gradually, slowly downwards and upwards. So now he was flying upwards and downwards, okay. And here next, what happened? He was no longer afraid. See, the bird was no longer afraid, okay. He just felt a little bit dizzy. He was just a little bit of dizzy, uncomfortable feeling, right? Spinning, okay, headache, okay. Then he flapped his wings nice, and he soared upward. Ga 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 ga, okay, ga kola, okay. His mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him, screaming. He saw his two brothers and sister. See, two brothers, one sister, right? Three of them, including him, 4 children. Yeah, flying around him, curveting and banking and soaring and diving, leaping like a horse. Okay. Now he was no longer afraid. Now he could fly, okay? Even though he feel a little bit of dizzy, okay? Then he started flapping his wings and screaming ga ga ga, and then mother swooped past him, okay? Swoop means fly, isn't it? Making a loud noise, and even his father came, and brothers and sisters came together. They were screaming, isn't it? Leaping like a horse. They were jumping like a horse, soaring and diving. So all of the family members were enjoying flying, okay? Soaring and diving. In fact, rest of the family members were happy because now he could fly, right? Okay, let's see here. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly, and commanded himself to dive and soar and curve, shrinking surely. Okay. Now the little bird, okay, seagull, he completely forgotten that he could not fly, isn't it? Now, because now he could fly, yeah? See? And he dive, okay, and soar, soaring like bird, and curving, okay, changing the direction, and shrieking, okay, screaming sharply, shrilly, okay. Now the bird is very happy now. Okay, now he was near the sea now. Now the bird is near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing straight out over the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him. Beneath means underneath, yeah, below, with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and cawed aimlessly, happily. Okay. Now the bird was near the sea, isn't it? Ocean, over the ocean, and he was soaring, and at the time he saw a vast, big green sea, okay, beneath him. Yeah, green sea. When the water is too deep, okay, not shallow, deep, water becomes green, isn't it? It looks like a green color, yeah. And he was moving over it and turned his beaks. He was turning his beaks sideways, okay, and cawed is the sound of a bird, right? Cawing, cow, happily, okay. Now his parents and brothers and sister had landed on the green flooring around ahead of him. They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into it. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings, but he was tired and weak with hunger, and he could not rise, exhausted. Now at that time, his brothers, parents, sister, they were already landed, okay? And they were calling him shrilly, okay, they were calling him, okay. And what did the little small bird do? He dropped his leg on the stand of a green sea. He tried to stand on the green sea, but his leg was sinking, okay, going inside water, because the bird was so tired, very exhausted, very weak with hunger, that he could not stood up, he could not stand up, okay. So the bird was screaming, okay, and attempted to flapping his wings again and again, but he could not, because he was tired, weak with hunger, and could not stood up, okay, and he was so exhausted. And parents were standing on the flooring ahead, okay, green on the sea, and calling him, okay, to come to them, but he could not. Okay, so next page. Exhausted by the strange exercise, okay. It's kind of strange exercise for him, right? Because he has never experienced flying, isn't it? So he was so exhausted, tired, okay. Now this bird's feet sank into the green sea. His feet went inside water, right? And then his belly touched it, and he sank no farther, okay. And his stomach touched the water, okay, and sink no farther, okay. The bird was floating on it. He was not completely sank, okay, but he was floating on the water now. And around him, his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering some scraps of dogfish. Now, as he was floating on the water, okay, green water, he's surrounded by his family members. They were very happy, okay. They were screaming and praising him, okay, for his bravery and for his achievement to be able to fly, right? And on their beaks, parents' beaks, sister, brothers' beaks, they were offering him a dogfish. It's a kind of a fish, okay, because he was hungry, right? Now, after having the fish, after having the food, after consuming the food, after devouring the fish, he could fly, isn't it? So he has made his first flight, so he could fly for the first time. So anyway, this is a nice story. So as long as you have a determination, right? As long as you could, gather your courage, everything is possible. Okay. So students thinking about the text, this notes has been given already. Just go through it. So this is the end of this chapter, his first flight, okay, part 1. And the part 2 will be continue. I shall continue in my next video class. So that's all for today. I'll see you in my next class. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.